Good morning. I'm going to be telling you the story of my grandfather, Joseph Black, who wanted to be here today, but unfortunately couldn't make it. I was born in 1922, and I was the youngest of 6 kids. When I was 7 years old, the Great Depression hit, and there were really hard times. I used to go to bed hungry, but I finished grade school, went to high school, and finally graduated in 1940. The war still hadn't started yet, and Germany was at war with Great Britain, so I went to trade school. After 3 months, we had joined the war, and I left to go work for Goodman Manufacturing. It was a defense plant that made weapons. I met my wife, Caroline Zucker, who was also working at the defense plant. Due to the special skill set that I had in making these defense parts, I continued to get deferments. And those are like waivers that said I was excused from being drafted. I received 3 of those deferments, and Carrie, whom I was dating at the time, agreed that if I got 2 more, she would say yes to me getting married. Well, I did, and so we went ahead and got married. However, I never got another deferment, and I got drafted. I reported to Fort Kennedy, where I trained for the United States Tank Corps. It was really rough, and I got up every morning for gunning practice. I lost a lot of my hearing because at that time there was no ear protection. After basic training, I got a 30-day furlough. And a furlough is a break from training. They sent all of us with this furlough to New Jersey to board Liberty ships to cross the Atlantic Ocean, and it was really rough. It took us 12 days on board this ship, and we ran into a hurricane. The 2 fighter jets that were strapped onto the front deck of our ships blew off into the water shortly before we arrived in France. When we finally got there, the captain told us how lucky we were to be alive. We got off in Le Havre, France, and marched. French people were throwing rocks at us because they were pro-Germany at the time. We were put on cattle cars with straw to lay on, and we went through France for 3 days and reached the front lines. And that's when the battle started for us in Brussels, Belgium. We were the 9th Armored Division, 14th Tank Battalion, and we had 3 major battles. But the most memorable experience we had was to capture the bridge at Remagen. They even made a movie about us, and we received a presidential citation. We waited for Germans to cross this bridge and watched them from a church. They planned to blow up the entire bridge, but their bombs missed and only damaged part of it. This bridge was over 200 feet high and was an old railroad crossing. It was extremely unstable and full of missing pieces. It was frightening for us to look at it, but we were the 2nd tank to cross, and we waited at the end for the engineers to fix the spot that the Germans had bombed. We were positioned on both sides, awake at all times, making sure that we weren't being attacked or hit by snipers. Once the bridge was fixed, we kept it secured so the rest of our American troops could cross. On the 8th day, however, the bridge collapsed and killed many men. I have to say, with all the scary things that I experienced, including snipers and being on those front lines, and even having my tank hit, crossing that bridge was the scariest of all. When we finally captured the bridge, we won the war for America, and we overtook Germany. We did lose a few men to snipers. One hit our tank, and we jumped out and rolled into a ditch, and thankfully, more of us survived than none. We continued on to Czechoslovakia, where German SS troops were surrendering left and right. I saw a letter posted asking for troops to volunteer to go fight in Japan. You would get a 30-day furlough to go home first. I missed my wife so much that I signed up to fight again. They put us on a train, and we went to Le Havre, France, and boarded ships to take that trip home. Again, the ships were double booked, and I slept on deck. But this time, the weather was beautiful, and we arrived in the United States 3 days later. I found out that while we were sailing home, Japan surrendered because of our bomb on Hiroshima, and I didn't need to go fight. They put us on buses to take the journey home, and I just couldn't wait to get back to Chicago. However, sadly, on our way home, our bus was in an accident and rolled over. I don't remember exactly what happened, but somebody pulled me out, and I was really lucky to survive. Not all the men did. Some died. Imagine that, to survive at war, being on the front lines in battle, and dying on your way home. So the last thing I want to leave you with is this. Appreciate what veterans did, what they went through for you, because you have no idea what that was like, and the images that we can never erase from our minds. We did it to protect and serve our country and the people in it, and I pray to God that you never have to go to war. I'm almost 95 years old, and I'm still married to my beautiful wife, Carrie. We've been married for 74 years, and because of the images I still dream about at times, it's hard to talk about these experiences. But I don't want these moments in history to be lost. So thank you for allowing me to tell you my story and for honoring Veterans Day today.